Hello. Today we'll be playing Heroes Advent. This is the newest update for the game. It first came out on the 1st of April, which was a few days ago. And this new update features day 11 for Max. Somebody important is going to visit the city. It's the job of the guild to make sure that person is protected while they're there. Who this important person is, about to find out. Yeah, where am I? It's so cold here. Is it always like this at night? You hurt your soldiers, steeling yourself against the cold. When suddenly you heard whisperings and faint murmur from afar. Is someone there? You look towards the wax on the voice as if you could somehow move across this formless space. Though soon enough the voices did become clearer. Compose yourself, child. You are still of this world. What? Almost immediately, the murmurs around you died down as a voice spoke to you. But wait, who are you? I believe this is not the first time we've spoken to one another. I guess you're right. You do sound really familiar. But I can't seem to put a name right now. I don't know why. I think this happened before when I met my old friend here. I suppose I'll see how it is. The figure seemed morose at first, but as they let out a soft chuckle, you felt rather relieved. Trouble yourself now. It's fine to forget certain things once in a while. Although I can sense a disturbance in your heart that seems to be plaguing your mind, dear. I guess I still have doubts after all this. Maybe I'm not so worthy to be a hero, like almost everybody's doubted me, and I think for good reason too. I think that's quite noble, Dave. You think so? Indeed. Doubt, while usually a negative emotion, is something everybody has by nature. Even the gods of this world doubt themselves once in a while. Would you say that would make them a failure as well? Well, if it's gods we're talking here, I guess not. So don't worry so much. Here, come with us for a while. You decided to lie down on what you assume was the ground. You didn't know why, but gradually the eerie around you was no more. Soon enough you find yourself resting amidst a lush meadow. As a gentle breeze caressed your head, you lifted your head, watching the dandelions scattering across the skies just above the wavy sunflowers. You let out a deep sigh after taking in the view before you. Feeling better? You could somehow feel the figure offering you a gentle smile. Yeah, it's quite a change from the usual things I see in my dreams, nightmares rather. I am of the mindset that everything that has transpired in this world carries a reasoning beneath. Those nightmares you have had, they too all carry a meaning. If that's the case, they must be pretty sinister. Indeed, I would surmise as much. Doesn't really help with all these being hero stuff either. As if my own self-doubt was not enough. This is just adding fuel to the fire. I understand your grievances, I really do, Dave. My own child used to feel that way all the time when he was a youngling. Your child? Oh, right. You do have a son. Oh, sorry. Was I not supposed to talk about that? No, all is well, dear. Now, you have the chance to rest your mind. Just let yourself be. Once you feel ready, the next appropriate course of action will come to as natural as it can be. Until then, rest easy. I shall take care of everything. Thank you. I owe you a lot, ma'am. And so the figure left. You had a strong feeling you knew who they were, but the name still somehow lured you right now. But instead of leaving you to another void, they have imparted to you yet another gift. A soothing lullaby that sang your name as it eased your soul and comforted your heart. You lay there on the field for what felt like hours, though it was there was so much needed respite. Eventually, it was time for you to leave. That must have been her. I can't wait to see her today. Afterwards, you glanced at your phone. As its blinking light caught your eyes, it was a message from Max. He wanted everyone to gather at the tavern for breakfast before heading to the lobby. Master Alaric had announced that someone important is arriving at the city today. Alright, let's get ready then. Once you got your morning rituals out of the way, you head straight to the tavern for a quick and uneventful breakfast with Max. Afterwards, you joined the others at the lobby. You could already see Alaric from afar. As everyone lined up, Alaric took to the podium. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Sir Alaric. At ease, people, at ease. As some of you may already know, I've gathered you all here today to inform you of a very important guest, not only to the guild, but to our entire city, Lady Spring herself. You could hear faint murmurs amongst these mercenaries as everybody traded glances with each other. Indeed, the one and only sage of our land. Many of you here probably haven't seen her in person before. She is the one who oversaw the golden crystals creation within the Vitrum Praetorium. Afterwards, once having made sure that we could fend for ourselves without her protection, she decided to leave crystal codes in our hands. For decades, we honor her request in keeping this safe haven afloat. That is until the recent transgressions from our opposition. This Lady Spring has decided to return to lend her aid once more. I cannot stress enough how invaluable her support is to our cause. But this also means she might face dangers from our own community, now that she's no longer incognito. For that reason, I ask that you, each and every of you, to keep her safe, much as how she kept our predecessors safe before. Instead of the road she arrives through remains on maximum security, all houses, properties in proximity must be checked thoroughly for threats. Last but not least, remain absolutely vigilant even in her presence. We cannot let our guard down just because Lady Spring is here to help us. Have I made myself clear? Sir, yes, sir. Very good. You are dismissed. Ordina Prosperita. Ordina Prosperita. As everyone went back to their duties, you met up with the others to discuss what Alaric announced. I guess it's her after all. I suppose it's about time we see her in person. Do you know anything about this, Max? Me? Nope. I don't know what you're talking about. Alright, well, I really didn't know it was her. Just had a hunch. But it looks like your prediction was right, Dave. It really is her. You? Knew something, Dave? I kinda did in a way. I guess, but honestly, it was also a hunch for me, too. She spoke to me in my dreams before, not many times, but wherever she did, I always feel calm and safe, even if I always forget what exactly we talked about there. Fascinating. Either way, Lady Spring is coming to town, and Alaric wants us to secure the perimeter. We'll be present as a group. Why? Are we splitting up to cover more ground? Normally, sure. But we also need to keep an eye on Dave. There will be a lot of people on site. We wouldn't want a repeat of last time, right? Fair enough. Makes sense. Well, away when you are. Same. Ashley, I have something to show you guys. Here, take a look at this. Alex said as he took out a piece of old parchment with some writing scribbled on it. Huh? What's this, Alex? So, here's how this happened. Yesterday when I was at the park, I picked up this note that somehow ended up on the path I took. I got a tad bit suspicious, because on my way there I did not see anything whatsoever, and yet somehow when I turned around back to spot that, when I turned right back to that spot, the snow was sitting right there on an empty bench. Of course, I headed back to the lab as soon as I could. It felt a little unsafe being there alone at that moment. But what is it even about? Here, you guys take a look. Okay, sounds like a bunch of gibberish to me. Huh? Looks like some kind of language. I don't know a single word though. Well, are you sure this isn't just someone's little recipe? Cody says he passed the note to you. I don't know what it says, but it looks like either Latin or Italian. I tried using Google Translate, but it kept giving me different messages in English and Italian and translate it. From the beginning, they were the best, always alive. They had served. Yet when times have changed, they were pleased with themselves. Now they love and protect, yes. Now nothing else. They regret it, but they never say. The eternal Martha will light up everyone. Yeah. I don't know, it's not translating the whole thing. I think most of it's being translated, and some other parts of it is in different languages. This is what I'm getting from Google Translate on my phone. Anyway. But that's the thing, Cody. The handwriting looks a bit too neat to be any of those things. This feels more like a message than anything. So I take it they've already deciphered it. Indeed, well, it's less so an actual cipher and more so an intentionally cryptic message hidden between a mix of two different languages. Here goes. In the beginning, they were the finest, always together. They had served, thrived, and overcame all. And yet, when the times changed, they were complacent. One moment they loved and protected each other. The next, they were nothing but bare cats. Well, I used my phone just now. It also said bare cats. I didn't mention bare cats because it seemed like it didn't make sense, but it did say bare cats on my phone. So I think it translated mostly, but when I said on Italian, it seems like it got better translated in Italian. So it couldn't be in Latin because when I put on Latin, it simply said the same stuff. The same letters appeared on this letter here appeared on the phone as well. So when I put it on Italian, that's where it translated most of this message. So that letter must be Italian. They were glad, but they never say. And when the barrel drops, cover the broken mirror. The eternal shroud will enlighten us all. Anonymous. I do have quite a lot of complaints for the inconsistent grammar and wrong choice of words here, but alas. And well, in a sense, something tells me that this has something to do with a group or a faction that we might have to face. A faction? Do we even know who these people are? I'm afraid not, but they might have something to do with the evil king himself. How can you be so sure? Wait, I think Al might be onto something here. Have you guys ever heard of the King's Generals? I think so. Oh, those. What, they his finest warriors? That's the only thing I know about them. Yes, and they were also brothers in arms long before all the Nether thing happened. Oh, so that happened to them? Highly likely, yes. This coincides with the last part of the note. But who could leave this really specific message for you to pick up? I don't really have a lead or anything at the moment, but if this note appeared at a time like this, it could be a sign or a warning for what's to come. Then we better remain vigilant. Just make sure we work together and not end up like those bear cats. What a silly way to describe people having beef with each other. Well, either way, that's enough of that. Let's get going then. Alright, it looks like everyone is ready to go. What about you, Dave? Ready to go, or do you still have something else to do? Nah, I'm good. Let's go. I'd like to see Lady Spring. Alright, let's head out then. After a moment, you all set out to the spot Alex designated for your group. Turns out it's quite close to the entrance of the Golden Crystal. Quite a lot of people have already gathered there by the time you arrived. You waited for a while in anticipation. Max also seemed rather restless. Lady Spring. Or as soon as cheering broke out from afar, you knew that she arrived. Oh, God be praised. Bless our land with your almighty presence, fair sage. May you watch over our child, O great sage of spring. Looks like she's here, safe and sound. Yeah, Alec already confirmed that Alicia is an ally for Lady Spring, so it really must be her. Still feels strange to see her again after all, and here too, of all places. It's her. At least, Matt swiftly covered her mouth before he could cry out her name. Shh, don't say that name in public, Dave. You're right, sorry. You nodded at him as he stepped back in line with your group. As you looked at Lisa, however, it seemed she already noticed you as he promptly greeted you back with an annoying smile. With a gleeful smile, you waved back at her. She waved back at her as he got escorted further in. You followed the procession till the end, as the crowd gradually settled down around the inner parkway. For a brief moment, Elisa remained silent before the Golden Crystal as he gazed upon it. As he turned around and spoke, however, her voice was clear and resounding as can be. Citizens of Crystal Coast, though we may come from all walks of life, from the zenith and the mountains to the depths of seas, we come together today for our common concern, the well-being of our kith and kin against this encroaching blight. These are dark times, and while my fellow sages and our champions may be heroes, we expect not the same duties from you. If it is your lives you wish to safeguard, then please seek refuge. Carry on the Marcus legacy. Let not your pure souls be corrupted. If you wish to depart, then go with the wind. Scatter like dandelions. Carry on this message. Carry on our people. And for those who wish to stay stalwart as the mighty pine, you shall remain here to maintain their shelter for those who might return. Flores Florent Excellis Ortus Illuminat, Abacum Terrarum Etus. Por ordinem semper consilium et prosperitas eterna et venitus. Ubi concordia, ibi victoria. Etake dum inter homines sumus colamus humanitatum. Ordina prosperita. Ordina prosperita. Okay, so I'm going to translate it. So, The message earlier I was able to translate in Italian. Now this part here is in Latin. Flowers bloom and the sun shines at sunrise wherever you go in the world. Through order, you always find advice and prosperity. Where there is unity, there is victory. And so while we are among men, let us worship humanity. Order from prosperity. Okay, so that was a translation of that message. So that letter from earlier, that was in, I was able to translate that into Italian, but it's new. But that part where Lady Spring spoke just now, she spoke in Latin. But I was able to translate it from Latin, so this is like the Romance languages of Southern Europe, the Mediterranean countries of Europe. Soon afterwards, the crowd dispersed and almost everybody returned to their places. The team was about to leave as well when you noticed two of Lisa's escorts approaching. Max whispered to him about something as he stepped away from the group. When he returned, he said that Lisa had asked them all to speak to her in private at the inner part sector. In private? But isn't this a public place? Don't worry about that. These guards will lead us to her. Come on, team. Let's vacate the premises. Do we really have to? I want to check back at the tavern for a bit. Come on, Cody. It's not every day you get to meet Lady Spring. And if it's a chance to convene with her, I'll take it. Let's go, guys. Times are wasting. Well, can always count on Al to boss people around when it's something he's really invested in. I'd love to ask for her remarks on what we discovered about the soil, that's all. Well, be your best behaviors, guys. We're going to meet Lady Spring after all. Yeah. Before you moved along, you overheard a group of civilians talking amongst themselves. They, however, didn't seem too pleased with what Elisa had to say. You then joined along with the guards to clear people out of the place. Afterwards, all of them stood guard both in the inner and outer wings of Richmond Park. Max then led the team towards the inner sanctum close to the Guardian Crystal, which Alice took you to before. The guards then asked the rest of the group to stay outside while you were escorted in alone, requesting your audience, Lady Spring. Well then, what do you require this time around? We're here for the person you requested, my lady. Thank you. If you may grant us a policy, it would be grateful as well. Understood, my lady. He glanced at the guards as they promptly moved further away from the inner sanctum, bringing the group along as well. Max only nodded at you as he escorted the others away. Soon enough, it was quiet again, with just you and Elisa near the Guardian Crystal. I apologize. It must seem peculiar to you that I asked everyone to leave just as they've. I apologize. It must seem peculiar to you that I would ask everyone to leave just as they've gathered around to welcome me back. Truth be told, I was rather overwhelmed. So many thoughts of most of the people across the coast had harbored for me over the years. But I had to smile on, lest the last bastion of our people's courage faltered. Is that why you choose to live in the forest? Precisely so. And before you could say much else, Alicia already pulled you in for a hug, before eventually letting go after a while. Oh, Dave, I miss you. How have you been, dear? Has the city been treating you well? I'm doing all right, Alicia. The city and the guild has been welcoming to me. And it's really nice to see you again, ma'am. Thank you again for taking care of me, even in my dreams. I'm glad that you still knew it was me, even though the dissonance had messed up your memories in your dream, no doubt. And it's very relieving to see you're still doing well. Will you mind going for a walk with me then? I can tell you have a lot of questions to be answered. Yes, ma'am. As he followed Lisa along the inner sanctum, you couldn't help keeping a keen eye on her garment. It was intricate and elegant, yet somehow felt familiar to you. Is something wrong, child? Oh, nothing. It's just you look very different this time. She only chuckled softly as she gestured to her outfit. Oh, I'm still the same Lisa, you know, dear. And truth be told, I much rather wear what I usually would back at home, but alas, we all have an image to keep up amongst others, haven't we? So they say, yeah. And I agree, I prefer simple clothing as well. So I guess this new uniform that Matt's and the others go for me suits me well. I guess this new uniform that Matt's and the others go for me suits me really well. Indeed. You look quite dancing in those, dear. Thank you, ma'am. Actually, that reminds me, I should return the clothes that you lent me from before. There's no need for that. I gave it to you, so it's rightfully yours. Just remember to keep it well. That's all I ask of you. And yeah, I'll keep it safe. Thank you again, Lisa. You're welcome. Now, what is it that you would like to know? I will answer to the best of my abilities. Well, why am I here, Elisa? Why me, of all the people that could be brought here? What's the purpose of me being the hero? Well, you're here because it is as the prophecy have foretold. In other words, fate has ordained that you are the one to vanquish the evil king. And didn't ask for any of this. That being said, however, this does not mean everything is already set in stone, Dave. What do you mean by that? Prophecies are, in essence, just another means. Long have people used divination to seek guidance throughout their lives. How they actually live their lives and save that path towards their destination, however, is entirely up to them. So I might say that you'd be the one to pull all this arrest. The prophecy does not specify how. Why am I here, Lisa? Why me, of all the people that could be brought here? What's the purpose of me being the hero? Well, you're here because it is as the prophecy have foretold. In other words, fate has ordained that you are the one to vanquish the evil king. I didn't ask for any of this. That being said, however, this does not mean everything is always set in stone, Dave. What do you mean by that? Prophecies are, in essence, just another means. Long have people used divination to seek guidance throughout their lives. How they actually live their lives and save that path towards their destination, however, is entirely up to them. So while I might say that you'd be the one to put all of this to rest, the prophecy does not specify how. That's why you can take your time, Dave. Do it at your own pace, in your own way. I'm sure you'll come up with something of your own accord. Huh? I guess I never thought of it that way. But still, is the situation pretty urgent? I don't think I can just mosey along forever. I suppose your concern is not unfounded. Worry not. We'll have a talk about with your friends after we're done here. Perhaps we can figure something out together. Sounds like a plan. Thanks, Elisa. Welcome. Once you've found the purpose of your journey, everything else will become clear as day to you. Now, how will you reach that point is the question. I, too, am quite curious of how you intend to do so. Well, anything else you'd like to ask, Dave? So what exactly are my powers? At first I thought I couldn't use magic like the others, but when Alex made me touch the golden crystal there, Elisa looked at the GC as she gestured towards it. I got zapped was what she said wasn't supposed to happen. Were you hurt? Thankfully no. I just got zapped really bad, but I think Alex called system shock or something. So afterwards, he suddenly found out that I could use magic now. Was admittedly, I did hurt myself trying to use it. I see. Thankfully, you are still here with us. What did your friend Alex make of this discovery? Well, he said my element was Aether. Did I say that right? Yes, Aether is indeed an element, although not in the sense that you may believe. So, if it's an actual element, does it mean I can use Aether magic then? You could, yes. And that element actually existed to begin with. Huh? Lisa, I don't understand. Didn't you say it was a real element? An actual hypothetical element. You see, Dave, in our field of study, one does not simply discard nor disregard the unknown and unseen. The existence of another element implies the existence of its antithesis, which so far has been named Aether. Unless without any observable or tangible evidence, this element will yet remain a hypothesized one. I see. So what does that make me then? Well, the conclusion that Alex had arrived at is close, but not quite. He was correct in deducing that your element is none of the common ones, but rather what we say is called the null element. No. What does that mean? I mean, I know what the word means, but that doesn't make any sense. If my element was no, then how could I use any magic at all? It would be empty, right? In a sense, you're correct, but think of it this way, Dave. Your body's akin to a prison. For most others, their prison is tuned to only let certain types of light pass through. But no prisons are different. They are empty, possessing not on their own. And instead of letting one single element pass through, you just can adapt to whichever the inbound energy is, making it your own. That sounds powerful. But how did that happen? Perhaps it is indeed because you touched the golden crystal. When I first made the blueprint for it, I had the nether's antithesis element in mind. And while it never truly materialized more than just an opposite force, it was enough to not only ward off but also disperse a trace of nether within the barrier. Huh? Does that mean the GC one's on Aether still? Hypothetically, I suppose, I would say it is merely an approximation. As I said, the element has never once materialized in this world, even if there exists a force able to neutralize the nether element. Thus, by combining various types of crystals, we could achieve a frequency of the force I just described. And the fact that it reaches to your touch means it still functions ultimately, even after several decades. Yeah, it's really powerful, but after the recent events, I'm not so sure about that anymore. So I've heard. Don't trouble yourself not, dear. Your friend was diligent enough to keep a close eye on the crystal, and now that I'm here as well, you can see to that the barrier remains strong to protect the crystal coast. You're right. I hope the GC is safe for good this time. One more thing, Lisa. Alex said that some people can channel power from the crystal, but it's not recommended. What does he mean by that? It's a safety precaution, Dave, because the reaction varies greatly depending on the person touching it. If they cannot possess the elements, they cannot resonate with the crystal. Thus, nothing will happen when they touch it. Others who do might suffer a shock greater than what you went through. For that reason, one should not wish it by attempting fate. I see. Also, there's another reason why I decided to vacate this courtyard, not just for my own peace of mind, but also for your good as well. For my good as well? You possess a sensitive heart, Dave. As such, it wouldn't take much for you to resonate with someone else's thoughts and feelings. Because of that, it would be best for you to be here, just with a few people we can talk to. Whether or not your friends will soon join us as well. Oh, okay, I see. Well, do you have anything else you'd like to ask, Dave? Have I been doing the right thing? What do you mean by that, Dave? Well, even though you just said that I'm free to choose my own path, I still don't know. Maybe won't know if what I picked was the right one or not. What if one day I have to hurt someone or even kill them? Would that sit right with you for me to? I don't think I could stomach that, not even in the name of justice. I'm afraid there is no path without blood, said Dave. That is the less than desirable reality of this world. To be fair, it's not so different with my world either. I see then that solidifies the notion that there could be no world devoid of violence and bloodshed. Shut up, Dave. Your heart is kind. To still concern yourself with the well-being of others. Lisa said as he gently lifted your chin. But sometimes what needs to be done has to be done. Should you face a dilemma as you described, try to follow what your heart says to be right. If it's not, try to seek another resolution. Perhaps you also need to remember that there will always be two sides to every story. Even if we believe ourselves to be righteous in what we do, some may still view us as evil, and vice versa. Even the king is not exempt from this. There must have been a reason for him to become what he is today. So if I understand this right, it's saying that the right thing to do is to see the whole picture, and if I don't think it's right, I should at least try to find a reason why. Yes, it's yes. That is a simple way to put it. But bear in mind, Dave, some people or some things simply cannot be reasoned with. If it ever comes to that, you may have to put the good of the many before the suffering of the few. It's by no means an easy decision. My fellow sages and I have had many an argument over what people would deem necessary evil. It's a burden that some has to bear, but I trust that you can come to your own resolution in time. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for your wisdom. I'll try to keep this in mind. You're welcome, dear. Lest I forget, now that you can do magic, Dave, someone must have given you an elemental crystal. Oh yeah, you're right, I do have that with me. May I see it then? Of course. You probably took the crystal out and handed it to Alicia as he briefly inspected it. Fascinating. This bears the handiwork of Alice, is it not? Alexander Puritus Aegis. Yeah. But wait, Aegis, like Aegis Mines? Yes, one and the same. Why had no one tell you about this? Not even Max. I don't think so. I always knew that Alex probably has some connection to powerful people in the city, judging by the picture of his family in Alex's office. Man, never would have guessed that he's the son of the Aegis mine owner. I suppose you wouldn't suspect that on your own. But it all makes sense, no? A scholar with such aptitude is quite the worthy heir to the Aegis legacy. I agree, he is a really smart guy. Well, even he can say weird things at times. I'm sure he means well deep down. Here, this crystal he made for you. It's quite an interesting replica of the golden crystal. You mean this is a miniature version of it? Indeed, more or less so. More precisely, I can tell that he based this upon the Vitreous Apparator, one of the first inceptions of the golden crystal. What's that? It means glass attendant. Think of someone that will escort you safely through your voyage in this land. So, it used to be a protective charm for one person. In a sense, the previous sages were known for their warding incantations that can fend off meteor showers from above. When their times had come to pass, they bestowed upon the common folk these protective charms as mementos of their contribution to this world. Certainly, much like everything else, the charm deteriorates over time, loses its warding properties as a result. Thus, our scholars have long created these makeshift crystal amulets, serving the same purpose of protecting its bearer. However, it would take so much more than to make something able to protect an entire region, while also able to sustain itself against negative influence. That was when I stepped in to offer my counsel, the blueprint, the crystal you see today. But back to these crystals. One of the troubles of supplying everyone in the land with these was that they had to be custom made, tailored to the specific person in mind. Otherwise, the crystal would immediately lose its potency since it could not resonate with the bearer. That's really impressive. Does that mean Alice made this just for me? Highly likely so, I surmise. Perhaps he ignores the implications in tuning the crystal to your specific frequency. Being this caliber, it's not quite as potent as the golden crystal itself, but it should serve its purpose well. She held the crystal for a moment before closing her palm on it. Then she seemed to close her eyes and challenge something into it. As she opened her palm again, the crystal began to float and hover before her. You could hear a faint hum emanating from the crystal as it suddenly shone and glimmered brilliantly. Elisa then gestured to the side as one of the guards approached and knelt down before her with a sword in their hands. And as if on cue, the crystal immediately gravitated towards the blade and embedded itself onto an empty gem socket. Finally, Elisa opened her eyes to grace you with a smile as she took the blade from the guard and presented it to you. Here, Dave, take the sword. He stepped forward and reached out to the sword. As you touched the tilt, the surge of energy coursed through your body, rendering you visibly shaken, though not as devastating as touching the Jesus itself. I amplified the resonance on this crystal. It shall not only channel your element, but also those you wish to resonate with. This sword was also imbued with magical crystal shards within its fine seal, allowing it to channel your elemental power. May it serve you well on your journey, Hero Dave. Well, thank you, Lady Spring. He took the sword after giving a shallow bow to Elisa, who nodded back at you in acknowledgement. Stefano, could you call Maxwell Dimitri, Wayman, and Alexander from the 4th Division here? I'd like to have a word with them, if you will. Yes, my lady. I will summon them right away. The guard then went on his way before returning with your group. He exchanged a knowing glance with Max before returning to his position elsewhere. Max and the others then approached as he knelt before Elisa. Lady Spring, what is it that you require? My team is ready to serve you. Max, please, no need to talk so seriously. Stand up, please. Stand up, all of you. I am quite pleased to see all of you here in person. The pleasure is all mine, Your Excellency. Nice to meet you, Lady Spring. It's quite an honor to see you in person, Lady Austria. Please, no need to be so formal. You may call me by Elisa. Despite my current identity, I suppose you all have known of me as Max's lady friend who lives in the forest. Quite an astute assessment, Lady Elisa. Well, gather you all today to talk about Dave's involvement in our current affairs. Let us talk it over some afternoon tea, shall we? Through here. You were led to a different part of the inner sanctum, away from the garden crystal. Where you ended up felt like a private garden of sorts, even with its own self-contained meadow. You couldn't help but notice that wherever Elisa stepped, flowers of grass began to sprout and bloom at her feet. Even the wind seemed to carry a sweet scent from her, as if she herself was a blossoming flower. They all sat down around a large table that was set amidst the meadow. Several butlers came forth with tea sets and began filling up the teapots. Another one brought plates of whole cakes on top of his arms, gracefully balancing them before placing on the table. Thank you so much, Andrea, Len, and John. Your service has been impeccable. Elisa gave each of the butlers a nod as he, in turn, replied with a graceful bow before stepping away. Now, please, enjoy, all of you. Would you like some tea, Dave? No, I'm good. I'm getting myself. Nonsense. You're all guests here. Would any of you like some tea? The others glanced at each other awkwardly before Alice just shrugged and replied, Well, in that case, I'd like some, please. Leah Lisa, extra sugar as well, if you will. I want to hear you two. Alex, what? It's not every day that you get to sit at a tea party with Lady Austria, let alone being served tea by her. Carpe diem, I said. Huh? Never thought that you had to say stuff like that, Al. You could feel Matt's glaring daggers at Alex, but Elisa's chuckle seemed to dispel that tension almost immediately. It's fine, you know. If everything, it gladdens me that Alice is still as eager as ever. Well, if anything, I guess I make him quite the simpleton. Would you like some tea as well, Dimitri? Well, yeah, sorry for the troubles, madam. No need to be so tense now, Dimitri. Here you go. Elisa, I apologize for the rudeness, but could we please get to the point? Patience, Max. You know I would much rather not rush things. Understood, ma'am. And so Elisa took her time to pour everyone a cup of tea and also giving everyone a slice of cake before sitting down. Well, now that everyone's had their share, please enjoy. I made the cake myself. Truly, a cake from Lady Astoria herself. As Matt began to savor her slice of cake, bit by bit, you took a look at yours. It was a sponge cake with whipped cream in between the layers. It looked quite delicious. You could always pick up the floral aroma gently wafting from the slice. And from the way Alice's eyes lit up, you knew there was something good. Eagerly, you picked up your fork and went for a bite. Almost immediately, the cake melted into your mouth. The creaminess was just right and not too sweet. There was a bit of tanginess that contrasted the stronger floral aroma, but neither of which was too overpowering. You could almost imagine yourself lying on a lush field, staring up into the sky, the gentle wind caressing your face, carrying a soothing scent of spring flowers. Wow, this is divine. Not even the best bakery at the market district can make something like this. You're right, it's on another level. Max really wasn't kidding when he talked about how good your cooking is. I'm very glad you enjoyed this month, Raymond and Dimitri. I can write this recipe for you if you like. It's not nearly as complex as you may think. Oh, if that's okay with you, I'm sorry for my rudeness. It's alright, Dimitri. I will give you the recipe a little later. This is great, Lisa. Do you use forest flowers for this? Good catch as always, Max. It does help with the tanginess. Will you agree? Yes, ma'am. It's very refreshing, Elisa. A little less sweet than I would have liked, but maybe that's just my sweet tooth standard. But of course. Well, now that everyone's made themselves comfortable, I suppose we should move on to the main subject at hand. I'm afraid that the situation is a lot more dire than I expected. I've heard from Alec about the state and the garden quest as well as your investigation is for. Well, I can guarantee that my presence here will act as a further deterrent against a frontal assault from our enemies. The truth still remains that the crystal was not built to last as long. That is, it was built with the protection of this region in mind, but not against active sabotage like what has transpired recently. Then, it is just as I suspected. It will take but one concentrated NATO blast to dismantle the entirety of the GC. Is it that serious already? But then you say the GC is still working well? I did, but it won't take much to destroy it for good, as Alice remarked. That is, while the crystal itself is safe for now, the amplifier wings have been badly corroded by the gradual dissonance from the affected soil. I'm afraid it is too little too late to start the saboteurs' operations. They and plant the seed of discord all the way back where the crystal was still being forged in the glass chamber. What would happen if the crystal failed? First the wings will rupture, then the dispensers will go kaput. Afterwards it will be in free fall. Then the entire area will be crushed. We need to move everyone away from the part just in case. Indeed, I've already informed our guild master to move everyone away from Visible Part towards the market district in case the worst does happen. So the people should be safe by then. And I also understand that you all will be visiting Akai in a couple of days. Yes, ma'am, right? And I were there last week. We experienced the same phenomenon with the Akai seal. Yeah, I was there with them too. The seal suddenly went out for some reason. Yeah, and we suspect that whoever did that, they're here also. And see who would we bring on this trip? Just us, madam. Good then, just a small team shall suffice. Be sure to scour the area for any clues you can gather. The rest of the mercenaries will keep the city safe while you're away. And as for Dave, what about him, ma'am? Elisa then told everybody about your newfound abilities that you know, how you could resonate with others. The others looked at you in awe as Elisa asked you to bring the sword she gifted you. Amazing. So they can also use others' elemental messages for resonating with them. We've also further enhanced my manager GC to reflect his abilities as a genius and understand move. How you flatter me. You're also a genius yourself, Alex. As far as I'm concerned, people who can replicate the guardian crystal's properties are now more than few and far between. You're too kind, Lady Elisa. But wait, help me out with something here, ma'am. You said that he could resonate with others. What's that all about? We're all taught that you can only resonate with your own element. So where did all that come from? Well, didn't she also say that Dave is a no element, so it makes sense that he's not like most people where that word applies to. I guess, how does he do that then? For him, it's as simple as trying to resonate with how someone feels as he needs to do, and all he needs to do is focus on that person's emotions. Then slowly but surely, you can feel his energy changing to adapt to what he wishes to match with. With that said, however, it is only safe for him to copy a certain amount of spells from others. More than that would be harmful to his body and mind. And I take it that you want us to help him harness the power. Correct. Ideally, I would like him to cultivate his power naturally, but given our current circumstances, he needs all the help and guidance he can get from you all. Of course, I'd be more than happy to fulfill your request. I don't know about the others, though. I'm in, as long as I can get to analyze Dave while he's training. So, count me in. What about you, Cody? I'm fine with whatever you guys want to do, so I guess I'm in as well. Very well, then decided. Though I must warn you all that there is quite a caveat for Dave's ability. What is it, ma'am? As I mentioned, as Dave can resonate with you, so will his Maisie adapt to yours. Meaning, he can feel what we felt. It will affect him directly. Indeed, so please try to make peace with whatever turmoil remains in your heart, lest it eats your souls inside out, and they will truly feel that pain as well. I understand. No matter, I shall handle that as well, ma'am. I see. Well, that should be all for the time being. Where we at, my homestead would very much welcome you all for dinner. At last, I should have some immediate business to attend to. I will meet with Alaric to discuss our next course of action against another legion. Now, if you excuse me. Be safe, ma'am. Thank you for the pleasantries, Lady Oyster. I shall remember this day forever. Simp. Subway. Well, let's take our leave, guys. Alright. So, what now? I was wondering if you want to go on a walk with me, Dave. Oh, finally dating, aren't we? Toby's gonna be so furious, oh no. Come on, Ray. Yeah, well, this is not a date. I'm just taking him for a night patrol. Would that be wise, though? Dating is all the ways he can get, especially after what happened recently at the lab. I'll be okay, Alex. Thanks for your concern, though, if you insist. So, is this it for now? I guess so. It's getting pretty late. I shall be back at the tavern to close it for the day. Yeah, we should be heading back. I still got some stuff to do at the lab. Alright then, take care, guys. We'll be on our way. Take care, Matt, Steve. Don't forget about tomorrow's training. I don't think I can forget about that at this point. Alright then, see you both tomorrow. Guess I'll join Alice at the lab too. See ya, have a good day, you two. Matt let out a huge sigh before leading you away from the park, then to the city away from the crowds. You went for a few rounds about the park, then to the market district before circling back. Matt seemed deep in thought all the way through, but as you arrived at the guild, he held your hand all of a sudden. Dave? Huh? Do you think? No. Am I a good friend? What do you mean by that? Well, am I a good friend? To you? To I, Alex Cody? To anyone? I mean, I think you are. But well, what about you? Do you feel like you're one? Honestly, I don't know. Maybe I'm too blindsided by my duties. Sometimes I even forget how my friends really feel about things. I know that some of them still can't deal with their past, but to live is to suffer. I can't say that I've made peace with my past either, but at the end of the day, we still got a job to do. We still have our duties, our honor to uphold. We can't let our past grievances get in the way of protecting this city. Sometimes I look down on them because they fail to realize this. But even my reasoning tells me I'm right. Something just doesn't feel right about it. I can't help but feel guilty about it. Max, you don't have to just keep to it all by yourself, you know? If not me, then who else? Why not us too? Huh? This may sound a little morbid, but really, let us suffer with you. Because if life is all about suffering, then let us all share the pain together. Through that, maybe you can come to understand each other better and ease each other's struggles at the same time. Listen, I know I've only met you for maybe less than half a month, but I can tell that you're someone people really respect, you know? Really? Yeah. I mean, sure, your methods can be a bit cold and brutal at times, but it gets the job done, so that means you're very efficient about it. In spite of others' past grievances, they still carry out your orders normally, right? That means they still respect you as a leader, as a friend. I guess you do need to work on your empathy for others still, but in the end, you lead the team well, and you do care for everybody's safety. So really, don't be afraid to share your thoughts and feelings with the others. And not for me, well, you know, because of all this prophecy stuff, then do it for them. Max didn't say much, only pulling you in for a hug. Thank you, Dave. I didn't know how much I needed to hear that. Yeah, how so? I guess I needed to know that I'm not alone in my struggle. Maybe I thought too highly of myself since I could set my feelings aside and focus on my duty. But in doing that, I forget that we all have our own struggles. Maybe we could have bonded over that as comrades in arms. Well, it's not too late to start now. You're right. Thanks again, Dave. No problem, Max. Max's smile suddenly went away as the look on his face darkened. His eyes seemed to fixate on somewhere behind you. You can come out now, Toby. As soon as Tiger promptly approached you from a bus on the line, you could tell that he looked rather annoyed at something or someone, but still forced a smile for the sake of it. Hey, Max, guess you found me. Always a solid nose, huh? What is it, Toby? Do you have anything new to report? Nah, nothing of the sort. I just finished patrolling the area. My dad's assignments also. Just here to check in on you. He then grabbed Max by the other arm, pulling him away from you. Let's go to the tavern, Max. I'm really hungry for some steaks. Toby, don't. Oh, you don't want to go eat yet? If you want to patrol more, I could come with you. You could come back home and rest, Dave. I can take it from here. Toby, stop. Max? Just get your hand off of me, will you? Oh, sorry. What's wrong? You don't sound like you're hungry. Do you need a hug then? Toby, just don't. Max glanced away as the tiger's eyes grew even more widened. Oh, drat. Did something happen to him, Dave? Was it you? Was it me? The tiger looked at you rather desperately as you shook your head in silence, unsure what to really say in return. No, it's not any of you. Just, Toby, we need to talk. Well, alright, I'm all ears. What's bothering you so much? Why are you doing this? Following me around all the time. Whatever do you mean by that? But you think I didn't notice, Toby? You forget that I can always sense you miles away every time you tell me in the past. Then I guess I'm sorry for that. I've always enjoyed sneaking up on others with Alex, you know? It was something we always did back then. Guess old habits die hard. Sure, but you always try to spend time with me whenever you can, right? Of course, because wait. What are you getting at here, Max? I know what you're trying to do, Toby. It took me a while to realize, but I do now. I know you have feelings for me, but let's not do that, please. Now is really not the time for it. But what about all the things we did together, all the times we spent chatting at the class, eating dinner at the tavern, and going on night patrols together? Did that not mean anything to you? Yes, but I see it as us being friends, and good friends need to treat each other well. At the end of the day, we still have our duties to uphold, Toby. You of all people, as the son of guild masters, should never get that. But I don't get it. The tiger was visibly tearing up, even though he still tried his best to not burst into tears. How could this be? No, something isn't right. We've been doing this together since we first met at the academy, and we thought we had something going on for ourselves there. But now that Dave shows up, you suddenly changed it to this. Tell me, Dave, what have you been telling him that he's treating me like this? Huh? Tell me. I didn't tell him anything, Toby. That's a lie. You and Max must have something going on, haven't you? Okay, that's enough, Toby. Back up. Max nuts the tiger away as he tried to go up to her face. Listen, let me get this straight. You know that I don't trust others easily. I wouldn't have trusted Dave if Elisa didn't step in to convince me. We barely knew each other. He's only here for what, a few weeks? So how can we have that type of thing going on? Seriously, Toby. But why? I love you, Max. I've always loved you. Why couldn't you return these feelings? Because I don't feel it, Toby. I'm sorry. I'm just not that type of guy. Anyways, you should go. It's getting late. We'll talk later when I'm off duty. Oh, okay, alright. And so the tiger walked away in silence, with tears still trailing down his cheeks. He always found Toby. He always found. You've always found Toby an annoying one. The way he always got so attached to Max, even to the point of talking over you or stuff on your side. And yet somehow you still felt bad for him. Maybe he didn't deserve this type of heartache. Will he be okay? I hope he will. I did this for myself, Dave. I don't mean him any harm. I'm exhausted. Let's head back then. You went back to your room with Max. He insisted on sleeping there with you to keep you safe. But where would you sleep? The floor is mine. We're used to that. I don't mind sharing the bed with you. There's plenty of space for two. No, it's alright. I need time and space to move things over anyway. If you say so. After getting ready for bed, you doze off to sleep after a while. At some point in the night, you woke up to rattling noises outside the balcony and the feeling of being watched. Though as you lifted your head towards it, there wasn't anything to be seen. Matt still seemed uninterested and unresponsive. You couldn't tell if he was already asleep or not. A shrug, lay back down and tried to go back to sleep, eventually dozing off as the unsettling feeling faded away. To be continued. So that the ending with Toby that merely confirmed everything that I thought about Toby. That he was in love with Max and that he was so obsessed with Max as well that he would push Dave aside or like in the tavern when the three of them would have dinner or breakfast, Toby would try to keep the conversation with Max going so that way Max wouldn't give his attention to Dave. And he would always tell Dave that he can do things by himself and that he doesn't need Max's help. And we saw that as well at the scene at the end. So it really, Toby really got heartbroken when Max finally told him that he's not in love with him, that he just sees him as a good friend. And I do feel a little bit sad for him because, yeah, he got heartbroken by Max. However, I don't really like him. I don't like the way he treated Dave and just push him aside and trying to take Max's attention away from Dave. And especially during the festival when he tried to get Dave into not being with Max. It seemed like throughout this whole time, this whole interactions with Dave, Kobe only talked to Dave for his own benefit and not for Dave's benefit. So, I wonder what's going to happen as we continue on. Is Toby going to be more hostile and perhaps try to cause some trouble for Dave, so that way he can create some kind of tension with Max, so that way he can take Max. I think that's what's going to happen. I'm not sure, but I'm theorizing what could happen. Toby might try to cause some tension between Max and Dave to the point that they might be estranged from each other, and that it would be easier for Toby to be more close with Max. But also, Max made it very clear in that scene just now with Toby that he does not wish to be in a relationship. He only sees him as a very good friend, not as a lover. So I don't think he'll be successful in trying to create a wedge between Max and Dave, but I think he'll try. To be honest, he always sort of has been doing that. Trying to separate Dave from Max. So we got to be reunited with Elisa, and she's a lot more important than what I thought she would be, with all the guards and parts of the city being shut down for a visit. And she had a part in the construction of the Guardian Crystal. So the public, all the crowds in the public, they admire her. And she's very popular. So Dave basically has the power of either or no. Basically it means that he can feel how other people are feeling. He can feel the other people's emotions. And he's bringing caution Max and the others against feeling sad or feeling sadness or anguish wherever they're going through struggles, such as in battle or in fights. Because if they feel sad or angry, or if they feel like they're struggling, Dave will feel that as well, and Dave will feel sad as well. So basically what she told them was that despite the difficulties they go through, they should try to keep their emotions in check. So Dave, that way Dave will be able to keep his emotions in check as well. So that way he won't have to feel the same anguish that they're feeling. So I think them using their shorter names instead of their longer names brings them some comfort in their situation, instead of using their full names, their full last name, their full first names. Because, for example, if Alex is Alexander, or Cody is Dimitri, or Way is Raymond, or Max is Maxwell, their names could bring them some pain, as their names could remind them of their past. So they use their shortened names to cope with their past and deal with what is happening right now. People used to have their names and have a name, and then that name brought them pain, so they changed their name. to something else, so they can so that new name can reflect the person they are currently and not what they were in the past. So in that scene between Dave and Max, once they got back to the guild, I really enjoyed that scene because Dave was pretty honest with Max about the way he treats his friends. Max asked Dave if he was really a good friend, and Dave said, rather than Dave saying that yes, you are a good friend, he was kind of honest and candid with Max, and he told him that while he wasn't a horrible friend, he could be a lot better. That he puts his duty as a member of the guild above his friendships, and that he takes his duty too seriously, and that he's very cold and brutal in the way he operates, and that while they told Max that being cold and brutal wasn't a bad thing, or being a part of the guild, I think what he meant was that he could at least try to be less cold and brutal to his friends. Just save that cold brutalness for when he's going after bad guys instead of going after his friends. So, what Dave told Max is that he should just be more friendly and more kind to his friends, and say that cold and brutal side of him for when he goes out catching bad guys. But I certainly agree with Dave that Max could work on being more kind and just being more open. And this is an issue that Max himself has been thinking. He probably thought all this time that he was pretty cold as well, and that he could have been a better friend. So I hope that over time Max will be more friendly and close to his friends instead of being harsh on them whenever they make the mistakes, or if they're not paying too much attention on their duties. Because throughout Max's route, we have seen times where he get really harsh on his friends as well as Dave. So that's all I gotta say. And this is really a pretty long update for one day. Usually each day would go for about 35 minutes, but this one lasted over an hour. So that's all I have to say for now. All information for the game is in the description box below, including the Patreon, where you can support the game, and you can also get updates 2 months before they become public. You also go to their Twitter, where you can look at the progress of the game and get information about when new updates will be public. So thank you all very much for watching. See you later.